Hello, my name is Rick Austin, and I'm just wanting to present on Amazon's DEA excellence. So, we want to look at quality of service, and so just really identifying the issue. One of the significant issues that we've always Amazon has always had, is tackling DEA, which is delivery estimate accuracy. This metric is the heartbeat of how well we deliver for our customers on a daily basis. It begs the question, do we deliver things to our customer on time and with quality? And the reason this is an issue is because it's well over $25.8 billion proposition as we look across the world at the number of defects and upgrades and mistakes that we make, quite honestly, on a daily, weekly, and monthly and even yearly basis. So within delivery estimate accuracy, we have two functions. There's pre-slam and post-slam. Pre-slam is everything that happens before a shipment gets its directional label, and post-slam is everything that happens after the shipment gets its directional label. So what are the ramifications and how do we measure this? So currently, pre-slam and post-slam DEA are measured by basis points. The lower amount of basis points that a site has, this is better. This is good for DEA. They denote an ability to acknowledge our first pass yield within the processes, and customer shipments go through what is called pre-slam, as they go through what is called pre-slam DEA. The lower amount of basis points any site has, the better. And then that once they're loaded on trailers, it moves into post-slam DEA. Continue misses in the pre-slam spaces as well as the post-slam DEA spaces denote a correlating failed customer service problem. So we want to make sure that we're not contributing to that billion-dollar deficit, and addressing these issues is extremely important to customer confidence. So within this challenge, we want to observe the glide path, embrace the data that we see, figure out ways to inspect the change and see around corners. So our current organizational structure to do this begins with the DEA Steering Committee, which sets the tone for programming improvements, projects, initiatives that happen. Regression analysis is used to capture the most value-added projects and set the stage for success. So pre and post-slam pundits set the stage for what standard work they will drive at the site level, while regional points of contact manage success for specific regions. These buildings are grouped together in 8 to 10 buildings per cluster. And then each and every single site gets a single threaded leader that does nothing but manage DEA metrics for the site. So the model is comprehensive, but really it fails to address conscious culture, as it doesn't go far enough to consider feedback from people performing the work daily. So it could get very robotic feeling and feel like a very top-down approach, and not one that Ross Asodia would have subscribed to. But looking at our solutions, right? Looking at Cotter's model, we felt it very important to outline really strong tenets that will address several steps within the model. The tenets help to form a strategic vision so that the team can go back again and again and have full understanding of what needs to be done. The vision will address both future sustainment action as well as short-term wins through the lens of creating a sense of urgency at each of our sites, in all of our regions, and in the business unit as a whole. So these are the tenets that are identified here that we'll speak about: innovating and executing before we innovate, using planning, performing, and standard basic things that we need to perform within our buildings, utilizing the steering committees as partners that began the innovation talk, and then clearly defining the processes that we have to focus on output metrics. And then lastly, we'll create a success roadmap to strategy that is able to be nimble and transforms quite quickly. So looking at meeting cadences, meetings are going to be the crux of how we manage this process and how we get better. Meeting strategies help to create sense of urgency. They build a coalition and they enlist a voluntold army, not quite volunteer, to get things accomplished, and provide with obstacle management and real-time triage assistance there. So wanted to talk a little bit also about how all the calls really benefit. The breakdown and explanation are essentially this. We want to look at three different lenses: weekly performance, triage performance support view, and then standard work inputs. So within these three chunks, all three issues are addressed at different levels, and sites get exactly what they need. What else? Standard reporting out helps leadership project levels up and down where it is needed to look for success, while simultaneously staying connected to that strategic vision. And within these report outs, celebrating short-term wins, which is extremely important to morale. Satterley spoke about Robert Greenleaf and his ability to identify the crux of servant leadership as leaders' ability to stay on the pulse of what their group needed was paramount, right? So we wanted to make sure that we explain and outline all the norms that would accompany the calls so that sites could have the optimal experience and feel that support that Greenleaf would have given. So without talking about accountability, we'd be remiss. Many of the failures found in processes stemmed from lack of standard work and completing it. So simply put, if we do the simplest things correctly, we would see growth and experience change in DEA. Lastly, verification was extremely important. And so through technologies, we could set visual uploads so that sites and leaders could see exactly what was happening and make sure that standard work was being observed everywhere. And so lastly, an appeal to the leaders is that we get verifications done quickly. We verify and move quickly on standard work pieces, that we do weekly recaps to bubble up reporting, and much more. Thank you for listening.